Ada and the world's first submarine adventure. We publish a new bedtime read-along story every night, so make sure to tap the subscribe button so you never miss any. Chapter 1, The Inventor. Ada was a brilliant scientist and inventor who lived in 19th century England. She was always curious about the world around her and had a passion for learning and discovering new things. From a young age, Ada had a fascination with the sea and often dreamed of exploring the underwater world. She was determined to make this dream a reality by building a submarine. Ada knew that she faced a lot of skepticism from others, especially as a woman, but she refused to let that discourage her. She was determined to prove that not only could humans travel underwater, but that a woman could build such a machine. For months, Ada poured all her knowledge and creativity into designing and building the world's first submarine. She worked tirelessly, day and night, often neglecting her own basic needs such as food and sleep. Despite her dedication and hard work, Ada faced constant ridicule and disbelief from those around her. They thought she was crazy to even attempt such a thing and that it was a waste of time and resources. But Ada refused to give up. She spent hours studying the properties of water and its behavior under different conditions. She learned about propulsion and how to create a self-contained environment for humans to breathe and survive underwater. She drew up countless designs and revised them over and over again until she was satisfied. Finally, after months of hard work and dedication, Ada had completed her masterpiece. The submarine, named the Orca, was a marvel of engineering and innovation. It was sleek and streamlined, with a reinforced steel shell that could withstand immense pressure. Ada's family, who had supported her throughout her journey, were filled with pride as they saw her creation for the first time. They knew that Ada had achieved something remarkable, something that no one had ever done before. Ada knew that the road ahead would be tough. She knew that many would doubt her ability to make the Orca work, but she was determined to prove them all wrong. With the support of her family, Ada and the Orca were ready for their voyage of adventure, to prove that not only does it work, but a woman can build such a machine. Chapter 2, The Voyage begins. The day had finally arrived. Ada, along with her family, set out on their voyage of adventure in the Orca. Their plan was to travel from Portsmouth to France, across the English Channel, but Ada knew that the journey would be anything but smooth sailing. As they set off, the Orca slowly sank beneath the waves, and the excitement in Ada's heart grew. She was filled with a sense of wonder as she looked out through the thick glass windows at the underwater world that surrounded them. However, their excitement was short-lived as they encountered their first obstacle. They had lost their navigation equipment and had no way of determining their location. Ada knew that they could not surface due to the storm that had been raging for days. They were stuck, lost in the vast ocean with no idea where to go next. The Orca was designed to withstand the toughest of conditions, but even Ada had not anticipated such a storm. The boat rocked and swayed violently, and the sound of the waves crashing against the hull was deafening. Despite the danger they were in, Ada refused to give up. She was determined to find a way out of this predicament and to prove that her invention could survive the harshest of conditions. As the storm raged on, Ada and her family huddled together, trying to keep warm and dry. They ate sparingly, conserving their resources in case they were stranded for an extended period of time. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, the storm began to subside. Ada and her family took advantage of the calm and used the stars to determine their position. It was then that they realized that they were in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, far from where they intended to be. Ada knew that they had to keep moving forward. She navigated the Orca by starlight, using her vast knowledge of the ocean and the stars to guide them towards their destination. However, their journey was far from over, and the greatest challenges were still to come. Chapter 3, Repairing the Orca. After surviving a fierce storm and navigating the Orca across the vast Atlantic Ocean, Ada and her family finally reached the Azores. They were relieved to be on land again, even though they knew that their journey was far from over. Ada and her family made their way to the port, where they were greeted by a kindly British naval captain. The captain was fascinated by Ada's invention and offered to help her repair the Orca. He knew that he could not provide all the resources needed to repair such a unique machine, but he did what he could. Together, they worked tirelessly to repair the Orca, spending days and nights in the cramped quarters of the submarine. Ada's ingenuity and the captain's expertise proved to be a formidable combination, and the Orca was soon back in top shape. During their stay in the Azores, Ada and her family explored the surrounding area and marveled at the unique marine life that they encountered. They saw schools of brightly colored fish, playful dolphins, and majestic whales. Ada felt a sense of pride and satisfaction, knowing that her invention had allowed her family to experience such wonders of the ocean. As they prepared to leave the Azores, Ada and her family felt a renewed sense of excitement and anticipation. They didn't want the adventure to end, so they decided to continue and head to New York. With the Orca repaired and ready for the next leg of their journey, Ada and her family set out once again, with the hope of encountering even more amazing sea creatures and wonders of the ocean. Little did they know that the greatest challenge of their journey still lay ahead. Chapter 4, Battle with the Giant Squid. As the Orca continued its journey towards New York, Ada and her family encountered all manner of sea creatures, from schools of colorful fish to playful dolphins. However, they soon found themselves facing their greatest challenge yet. One day, as they were making their way through a particularly deep and dark part of the ocean, the Orca was suddenly attacked by a giant squid. The creature had tentacles as thick as tree trunks, and it lashed out at the Orca with furious strength. Ada and her family quickly realized that they were in a fight for their lives. The squid was trying to drag the Orca down into the dark abyss below, and the family knew that if they did not act quickly, they would be crushed by the pressure of the deep sea. With all hands on deck, Ada and her family worked together to fight off the squid. Ada used her scientific expertise to analyze the creature's movements, while her husband and children did their best to fend off the beast with whatever weapons they had at their disposal. As the squid continued to attack the Orca, Ada came up with a daring plan. She knew that the Orca was powered by a unique form of electricity, and she realized that she could use this power to her advantage. She quickly diverted some power to the shell of the Orca, giving the squid a small electric shock whenever it tried to latch onto the submarine. The shock was enough to make the creature let go, and soon, the squid was forced to retreat. After a fierce battle that lasted for hours, Ada and her family emerged victorious. The Orca had sustained some damage, but it was still seaworthy, and the family knew that they had proven their mettle in the face of great danger. As they continued their journey towards New York, Ada and her family knew that they would never forget their battle with the giant squid. It was a testament to their ingenuity, courage, and resilience in the face of adversity, and it would go down in history as one of the greatest moments of their incredible adventure. Chapter 5, Arrival in New York. After defeating the giant squid and repairing the Orca, Ada and her family continued their journey towards New York. The voyage had been long and treacherous, but finally, they spotted the skyline of the great city rising up in the distance. As they approached the harbor, Ada and her family could see a crowd of people gathered on the dock, waiting to greet them. News of their incredible adventure had spread throughout the world, and they had become instant celebrities. As the Orca surfaced in the harbor, Ada and her family were greeted with cheers and applause. They had proven that a woman could build a submarine and travel underwater, and their incredible journey had captured the imagination of people all over the world. Ada and her family were welcomed as heroes, and they were showered with gifts and honors from dignitaries and admirers alike. They had accomplished what many had thought was impossible, and they had done it with grit, determination, and ingenuity. But even as they basked in the adulation of the crowds, Ada and her family knew that their journey was far from over. They had traveled across the world's oceans, battled giant sea creatures, and navigated by the stars, but there was still so much left to discover and explore. And so, as the Orca was towed into the harbor, Ada and her family looked out across the vast expanse of the ocean, dreaming of all the adventures that lay ahead. For they knew that there were still mysteries and wonders to be found beneath the waves, and that they were destined to uncover them all. The end. Do you want to hear more stories? Then hit the subscribe button to follow our channel, so you never miss another daily story. And keep listening now, as more stories will play shortly.